What's up, Otakus? It's your tour guide here. I've been on a couple minutes late. It's been it's been a long week, and just to provide an update on what's been going on, I shared last time that I'm taking an online course right now. Now it's an intensive course. It's a 4 week course. It's about 8 hours of instruction each day. Well, it's designed to be 8 hours. They do give you a big portion of that time to for self study and to help um, do assignments and projects. And I've got two things I have to do this weekend. One is a written assignment, and I just spent the whole latter part of this afternoon and up to just before I'm coming on now, to, like, writing it. And I want to say I'm about 80% there. Um, I'd say about I'm 90% there. The 10% is just kind of cleaning it up, um, kind of making sure all the points they want us to cover for the assignment are accurate and there. And yeah, I got to upload that. And then the second thing, again, we have a long weekend because I don't have a class on Monday because of President's Day for some weird reason. But yeah, we resume Tuesday, and that is when I will be conducting like a lesson. Uh, and so I have to prepare for that. So yeah, it's a lot of prep work, and I got to prep for teaching and all that. So, and just to clue you in on what I'm trying to get a certification in is it's a English like teaching certification, and yeah, it's going to be useful for when I do go back to, let's say, Japan, and teach there. It's going to be very useful. So yeah, so far so good. The course has been good. Um, we've only really been evaluated on one activity so far the first week. A lot of it has just been kind of introductory material, and it really is forcing you to kind of like reframe how you understand English and adopt a more uh, kind of professional approach to teaching. That is understanding what the learner struggles with, understanding kind of concepts around teaching English. Um, but they're very focused in the approach. Like there's just really two broad areas of English learning. And, you know, each area has specific um, grammar, vocabulary, and receptive and productive skills. And you're kind of teaching all of those in concert, but definitely when you approach any lesson, there is sort of a main aim or goal of the lesson that hones in on a specific area. And so that's kind of what the course is managing. The course is managing your ability to navigate, kind of recognize and navigate that environment, while at the same time not making a lesson too one dimensional, but focusing on one main aspect, but also being able to incorporate other aspects of learning um, related to those, uh, you know, um, broad areas of English learning and kind of making it all cohesive. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on. It's what I'll be doing for the next 3 weeks. And this week, even today, I was just like, man, I really want to do Otaku Weekly, and that's what kind of you know prevented me from procrastinating. I like to procrastinate, but it kept me like focused on, okay, get the majority of the stuff done, and then take your time honing it over the weekend before you submit. So I'm kind of there. I'm kind of like at the stage where I can kind of take a break from it and approach it with fresh eyes, probably tomorrow night. Um, and then also kind of do a final check of it on Sunday before I submit. So again, we've spent too much time talking about this, but just wanted to let you know it's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. All right, we've got 10 books, and it's been a very kind of productive week on the news front, the comic book event front as well. And we're going to try to cover as much of it as we can. There's obviously things it's all filtered. Well, the events are all filtered through my lens. So forgive me if I don't mention things like um, what's going on with the absolute stuff. I mean, I'll touch upon it if I feel I just feel it's like it's background noise at this point, right? The apps, hey, what's up, man? Hey, fanboy, how you doing? Dude, yeah. All right, yeah, of course. I'm here for you, man. Um, hope you're enjoying work on this Friday night. It is Friday, so hopefully that's you know the start of the weekend for you, or maybe it's not a situation where you know maybe it's just the start of work for you. I don't know currently what your schedule's like, but I would imagine, given your where you work, they're probably like they don't really have a weekend. I would imagine, but keep keep at it, man. Uh, hoping hoping you just power through the work. All right. Um. So yeah, is it okay? Good. That's great. Okay, that's great. Yeah, just power through Friday then. Um. So yeah, I basically, like I was saying, I filter the week's news through my lens, and so there's a bunch of like comic book related stuff, like a lot of independent, like comic book related news that I could care less about. Um, Mostly for me, it's like either Marvel or DC, uh, related to artists I like, right? Or something just so general or sort of so kind of you know big topic type IP stuff like He-Man. I'll cover He-Man. I don't collect He-Man. I could care less about He-Man, but um, he's it definitely is a trending topic. I covered the He-Man comic one, like a preview of the He-Man comic. I think that's as far as I went. But yeah, there are a lot of you out there that probably have He-Man comics or have the first issues and all that. I know we need to do that live at some point, and I know given your schedule, it's been kind of tough, but we'll find time. Um, Definitely want to do that with you. And I wish there was like a, I wish there was more. This is the thing about the frustrating thing, not about DC Comics, but about the DC studio content. We're not getting stuff. We're not getting stuff when we want it. You know what I mean? I want to reach a cadence where it's like you don't have to wait like a month or 2 months for the next project, right? It's like just like sorry, you don't have to wait like months and months for the next project. It's like a 1 or 2 month maybe waiting period between one project and the next, whether it's like movie and then a television series and then another movie. It's like it kind of has to keep hitting, right? Just keep a flow of consumable content there. And you kind of have that over at Disney. Disney has things kind of lined up where we're getting something, right? Whether it's all related or not, Disney's like pumping stuff out. And I just don't feel like we're there yet with, and I know there's a lot of right now with the future of Warner Brothers, the merger or that not the merger, but the acquisition by Netflix, what that, you know, combined business model will look like. There's a lot of questions around that. And I know that kind of throws a wrench into the planning and everything. But right now, what we've got Supergirl that we're waiting on, we've got the Lantern series, and even that's like just like scraping the barrel of like stuff we could potentially get, right? It's just kind of like I know they have the Matt Reeves Batman, but I don't consider the Matt Reeves Batman part of this excitement around the DCU stuff. Um, I didn't. I know people like that Batman, but to be honest, I did not enjoy it as much as others did. Um, the Robert Pattinson Batman, I don't. I just don't see him as Batman. One, they had great actors, but like race swapping Jim Gordon, not a big deal, but at the same time, it changes the dynamic of that character by a lot. As a black police commissioner versus a white police commissioner, there's just different, you know, um, identity politics playing there. And then they had he had Catwoman, Black Catwoman, again, racial identity politics there. Not that it mattered with the context of that story, but it's just like it wasn't compelling enough to make me think that, oh man, this is the best Batman movie I've ever seen, or it usurps other past iterations of Batman. I think it's just an okay version. But I don't think the Nolan Batman trilogy can ever be topped um, when it comes to Batman. That's just it's the standard. So really, for me, Batman content it's just not that compelling if it's a standalone kind of project. But when you raise the prospect of hey, Batman and Superman together, or Batman with the Justice League, right? That kind of raises the stakes and makes it more comic accurate, makes it takes it out of the realm of comparing it with the Nolan Batman, you know, series and brings it into a more like comic book toned kind of event. So that's what I'm excited about the DCU project. But the Matt Reeves Batman, I hope it's okay, but I'm just not excited about it. All right, but my whole point with that is like you're gonna get news and you know the top 10 list is again filtered through the lens of my comic books. So you're really just gonna get a reflection of what I'm interested in and what catches my fancy versus what's going on in the larger comic book community. But at the same time, I do try to be as broad and comprehensive as I can. But yeah, you just won't get a lot of indie book stuff or the absolute stuff, the modern stuff that's going on. All right, let's get to it. Enough talking, man. Shut up. All right, here we go. We got number 10. Yeah, Supergirl is still top of mind. It's still super relevant. And yeah, a big trailer for Supergirl dropped, and we'll get to the content of that trailer as we go along. Oh, really? All right. I'm very curious to know what that is. I hope it's I hope it's just a few books because I am trying to downsize. I'm going to be like sending you books as well at some point. I'm trying to downsize, so hopefully it's nothing too much. Oh wow, okay, yeah, all right, man. Thanks. Uh, that's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. Um, yeah, awesome, man. So, oh, before we continue, you just reminded me of something. Um, so we lost a community member, Matt, aka Papa Wheelie. Um, he was one of the most, just one of the most coolest uh, comic book community members. And I don't know the details around his passing, but apparently he passed due to some medical complications. And I saw that Roscoe had posted something in his, in his memory, and that's just devastating news. Now, I've been on live streams with Papa, and I know he's a big part of our circle of the YouTube community, and it's just really sad news. And I just, it's just a big loss, because man, he was very enthusiastic about comic books, and he was just he just brought joy to so many people in this community, with his engagement, his energy, his, and just his presence. So the fact that he's gone is, it's sad. And yeah, this session of Otaku Weekly goes out to Matt and his loved ones. Just trying to process all of that. It's extremely sad news, and just hoping, he, rests in peace and finds some solace in the afterlife. So, okay, well, yeah, getting back to the list. Yeah, Supergirl, trailer dropped, and it was a fun trailer. She it just gave kind of more, it introduced a little bit more background on her relationship with her dog, kind of the background on how um, they meet. Um, but yeah, the real drop of the trailer was to feature Crypto as a puppy, and man, is he adorable! You know, we thought he was adorable in the Superman movie, just being a kind of a playful, kind of older puppy. But man, he's just like a little, he's like a 4 or 5 month old puppy in the trailer, and it's 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 really it's cute. Yeah, it's very cute. So yeah, there you go. We're going with Superboy, uh, our featured comic Superboy 80. This is the first meeting between Superboy and Supergirl. And one thing, Fanboy and I mentioned we both like the red skirted Supergirl, and that's who we're getting in this, this DCU version. She's definitely in the red skirt, and yeah, just that's the way it should be. So again, they kind of change up. They don't stick with this design, unfortunately. They kind of vacillate between red and blue, but it's changed over the years. But in this early period, I guess they were just having a debate. It looks too much like Superman's underpants. I don't know. I don't know what would cause them to vacillate on the color of the skirt, but it was not congruent. Let's just put it that way. All right, so we have that number 10. Number 9 might kind of surprise you, but we're getting more and more details of the Netflix series, and or not the Netflix series, sorry, the Disney Plus series for Daredevil. And apparently they are going full on. We're bringing like the Defenders, right? Like they're bringing, I think they're planning to bring Jessica Jones back, and all the Netflix series characters like Luke Cage, um, Iron Fist, and the Punisher, right? The Punisher was a big part of that series as well. So I think the Punisher is even getting his own series, and there's also rumors that the Punisher will and Daredevil will be part of the MCU projects moving forward. Like the versions we're seeing in the Disney Plus will be in the Feige, and that's kind of like a crossover in a certain respect. Um, Even though it's like technically all Marvel, it's we've yet to see Daredevil in any of the Avengers type stuff, and Punisher will be a huge addition to that because Punisher's so already such a big part of the Marvel, you know, the Marvel framework as it is. I mean, both these characters are. So I mean, we're going from number 10 to number 9. Daredevil. I love this series. Um, I think I think it. I think this is an underrated comic book when it comes to Daredevil, because you really have two people at the top of their game in the 90s, early 90s, mind you, right? This is an early 90s book or it's like, I want to say it's like a mid 90s book, right? The 94, 95. I don't have the date here, but it's like a mid 90s book. But it's so, I mean, it's when these Frank Miller and Romita Jr. are really at the top of their game. And it's one of those things that work well in concert. I think they had, because Frank Miller tends to kind of like ride it home on certain projects because he's just gotten that big. I think when you get too big, where you have to like, you know, you're not focused on work, because you're not needing to make money. You're just making money, just being you. When you get that big, but you work in an industry that requires you to be like really focused on the project, collaborating and doing all these things, I think it's a detriment to you. And I think post this project, I can't recall reading something by Frank Miller that was good. I mean, this is I think his last real like great comic book. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't read anything since this book by Frank Miller that's compelled me to say, wow, Frank Miller hasn't lost a touch. But everything post this I read of Frank Miller has been just disappointing. And just feels like he kind of got stuck in a, kind of got stuck in his little silo and couldn't break out of it. Just continues to kind of write in the same style. Actually, his style's gotten more kind of more political nonsense blathering, um, rather than like gritty and like action focused. It's kind of steered toward I've got a message and I just need to incorporate it into my like comic books, like the political messaging. Um, yeah, again, and his writing kind of just goes off the rails as he's gotten older and richer. But it is what it is. The next book, number 8, is not really a comic book. It's a comics interview, but it's such a great cover. It's such a great Punisher cover. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is the Punisher. It's a Punisher logo, full front. I mean, this is right around the time. First of all, it's a Car Potts and Jim Lee interview in here, on the introduction of the Punisher War Journal, which is one of the early ongoing Punisher series. This sort of mid 80s, was this 87, 86, 87, 86, I think. This 86 period was huge for, no, it's 80. Let me try to read the fine print here. Okay, I got to read it through here. Can't see it. My eyes are so bad. 88. So this 88 year, the year of 1988 was a pivotal year for the Punisher because it established sort of several ongoing titles that sold really well and just elevated him from sort of this like obscure kind of reoccurring villain to his own, like the protagonist of his own series. And he really went from like being a bad guy to kind of being the bad hero. So that was a cool transition. But yeah, this was a cool comics interview magazine. I mean, I'd love to see stuff like this come out today. where you get kind of comic book news, interviews, and like preview stuff of what's going on in the industry, right? You got Chris Warner, Dark Horse artist, Mike Barron interviews. I mean, that's just like, it's like prime stuff right there. And again, in here is a Jim Lee interview, who at the time wasn't really anybody, hadn't made a name for himself. He's just like kind of this rookie artist coming in with Carl Potts. Um, but man, in a few years, like a year, 2 years from this date, would he be on everybody's radar? Just crazy to know. Like in '88, no one knew who Jim Lee was. He did an interview in this pages, but I mean, he didn't even make the, he didn't even make the front page. Like, hey, Jim Lee's in here talking to you. But man, how that would change a year from this interview. He would become really the one of the most sought after artists at Marvel. So, or the top artists at Marvel. So, pretty cool. This is a pretty cool magazine there. All right, so that's number 8. We're going back to Gambit because, again, I think I wanted to show this book off a while back. Couldn't find it. Now I finally have the Gambit issue I wanted to show off to feature Gambit. And yeah, it's a beautiful copy here. It does have its issues, a couple spine ticks in it and whatnot. But nice gold foil 90s Gambit book. And I wanted to focus on like underpriced books. And this is definitely, I know it's like a overprinted 90s book, but I mean, this is Gambit's first solo series. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's never going to be a big book. So $10. I wouldn't say it's underpriced. It's underpriced if you consider a dollar bin book. I'd put the pricing, fair pricing for this moving forward. Then it should be a $10 book, right? It shouldn't be a dollar bin book. It should be a $10 book. I guess in high grade, you could probably have this. If it's a 9.8 copy, it'd probably be in the hundreds, right? Because of the black cover. But yeah, this is definitely one you want for your collection. Especially if you're an X-Men fan, right? If you're an X-Men fan, you have to. There's so much to collect around X-Men, but I would imagine you'd want things like this because it's my collection, and I don't consider myself like the biggest X-Men fan, but I want to keep this in my collection just because of the cool cover right there. Who doesn't love this? The design of this, the trade dress here, Gambit. That's awesome right there. So kudos to that. All right, we've got number 6 on our list. Number 6, we had a Super Bowl ad that kind of mimicked the Budweiser, Christmas ads of the past. We had the Clydesdales, and they're like, talking about Budweiser beer. But this was just a kind of a teaser for the Grogu movie. And I don't know about you, but I think the Grogu movie is going to be a huge hit. That's just the way I feel about it. Because I just feel like a lot of people are still everybody's still a Star Wars fan at heart. And Star Wars is just one of those things that if it's a movie and you got characters there that you're kind of interested in. It's going to draw a huge crowd. And I think where Star Wars has kind of failed in recent years is because they've released projects where people just don't care about the characters in those projects, and that's a bad place for Disney to be in. But again, with the success of the Mandalorian series, I think with the success of where this is positioned, it's kind of the post Empire kind of, um, it's a transitionary period, right? For probably a lot of lawlessness going on now that the Empire's not really um, looming as a threat over everybody. It's kind of giving a lot of people license to do a lot of weird stuff in the galaxy, right? So it's a be an interesting period. But yeah, this copy is available for sale or trade. It does have a pressable issue that I do want to. Um, you can see it right there. Is that it? No, sorry, it's right here. So if you look in the light, you'll see a little bend. Doesn't break color, but there's a very noticeable bend. It's better when you look at it in there. It is. You can see it right there. Um, you look right there where my finger was. You'll see a bend. There it is. You can see it right there. See that bend? So there is a bend there. It doesn't break color and it's pressable. So once pressed, I mean, this is a high grade copy here. So, yeah, this is available for sale or trade. And really, it's going to be a big book, right? It's the first appear. This is the thing. Like, this is another undervalued book, I think, when you consider, is there like a ratio variant? It's not a ratio variant that is just one among many Baby Yoda Mandalorian appearances. No, this is their first cover appearance together, and I think this precedes the Mandalorian series, so it's their first kind of like, I think he had a reference to Baby Yoda in a previous, or he had a cover appearance by himself. Then he had a reference to the Mandalorian in the comic book series, but you never really saw him. And then this is their first kind of appearance / appearance together on the comic book. And then the comic book series starts. So, I mean, it's a really significant book from the Star Wars IP standpoint. Now, I can't speak to the rarity of this book, but I would imagine it's rarer since it's a variant edition. But yeah, it's a great one to have for your collection, especially if you like the Mandalorian. If you liked it, then this is definitely a book you got to have. But if you've kind of cooled off on Star Wars, like I have, actually, I haven't cooled off on Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I've just cooled off on until they kind of rectify what's going to happen. I guess this is sort of Disney's attempt at rectifying it, right? It's like, let's forget the stuff that happened in the movies. Let's create sort of a new ethos around this story, and figure out a way where we can kind of like, blow up the events of the failed J.J. Abrams project, and I don't know, create a whole new alternative version of something. But we're really at a point of no return, because you've already killed off, well, so you've got an aged Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, those two guys aren't coming back to reprise anything. So what we are left with are like CGI versions of these core characters, and fans are just not going to be down. So I just feel like everything ends with Return of the Jedi, right? And we just got to assume, yeah, they went on to live happily ever after lives, and then it's got to be this like subset of events and issues within the umbrella of the Republic. So you're not gonna introduce unfortunately you're not gonna see stormtroopers and all that ever again. Um, what you're gonna have are like maybe bounty hunters, maybe yeah, stuff around the huts, which is I think what they're focusing on. Maybe the return of the Sith, like more Sith type stuff, but you're just not gonna get that formula of, oh yeah, we're building another Death Star, or we've got stormtroopers fighting, you know, Ewoks or something like. You're just never gonna get that again. So, and that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Some things you just need to let die. I know you have a formula that you want to keep selling to people, uh, in per, just forever. But it's good to maybe blow things up and create something new for people with under the Star Wars moniker. So let's see what happens. But yeah, this is available for sale and trade. Hit me up. All right, we got what we got here. We got what is our next book? Number 5 on the list. Doomsday. That continues to be kind of loom large in the background. We're getting Wonder Man, the television series, and I've heard people really say a lot of good things about Wonder Man, which is cool. I think anytime you can kind of bring a relevancy to a character that didn't used to have it before, it's always a cool thing. Um, yeah, I just don't have any Wonder Man comics or anything like that. But the news I wanted to, or I guess the sort of the rumors going around the Doomsday Project, is more sort of context around the fact that Magneto and Doom are going to battle. I think that's the big kind of takeaway from kind of what we're hearing, the rumors that we're hearing. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but it just, when you hear people like in interviews and stuff and some of the news that has broken, when you hear stuff like that, you just basically chalk it up as, okay, that's probably in all likelihood happening. And which makes me what's up, Will? Hey man, how you doing? Sit back, relax, let yourself go, man. Glad you're here. So yeah, I think Doomsday, a Magneto Doctor Doom battle for me is something positive. It's great, and I think making, whether you make that something that's confirmed or unconfirmed, it does just wanting to see the battle, right? Just wanting to, like, okay, if Magneto is fighting Doctor Doom, even if someone spoiled it and said, man, yeah, Doctor Doom's fighting Magneto, I would still go watch that. It wouldn't be something like, oh man, it got spoiled for me. I know Magneto and Doom are fighting now. I don't want to watch that. No, it'd be like, oh really? Okay, let's go watch that. It's like, it's kind of like one of those things that are compelling, however you frame it. So yeah, that's a very interesting prospect. And again, one thing I think I'm going to have to come to terms with is seeing Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom when we know he's been this guy for many years. It's a hard, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things that without any kind of like, um, I mean, I just think he's just the actor who's playing two different characters, right? And it's hard to make that separation in your mind. Maybe it will be connected. Maybe it will be something like here's a an alternate universe where Tony Stark ended up in, was it Latvia, wherever he's from, and ended up living Doom's fate. And, palling up with Reed Richards, and I just don't know how that's going. It just doesn't make sense. But I'm hoping they make sense of it somehow. Maybe we just have to accept the fact that, like, no, look, Robert Downey Jr. is not Iron Man in this. He's playing a completely different character. He's got an accent. He's shaved off his stash. He's older now, so maybe there's just some kind of like way people can process that. But I'm just curious to see how that's going to play out as well. So I think the Doom project has a lot of kind of like curious elements to it. Like I just want to see it to see how they do it. How do they bring Doom to the MCU? How do they convince audiences that you know Robert Downey Jr. is now Doom, and how are they going to execute that battle between Magneto and Doom, and introduce the X-Men and all that? It's just going to be one of those like, okay, let's go and just enjoy ourselves, which is why I think, ultimately I think it will be a successful movie. Um, Whether it will sustain that success, we'll have to see. But I just know, I think most comic book people are in agreement. When Doomsday comes out, it will be something people will rush to see. All right, nice. You doing it? So you're selling comic books? Oh, you're getting ready for a comic. Okay, so you're gonna go buy comic books. That's cool. But his son is spoiled. Yeah, you meant Doctor Doom. Um, Doctor Doom's son, huh? House of M. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. He loses his son and wife though, from my understanding of the origin, right? So I don't know. Maybe there's some uh, version where he regains them or regains his son somehow. But that should be interesting. All right. The Yeah, I think the X-Men is the other big part of that. So you got Magneto, Doomsday. You've got Robert Downey Jr. again. The other part is just the X-Men. I mean, they've got everybody back now. They've got um, basically Professor X and Magneto. I think both of those guys are going to be killed in this one because I don't see them coming back again in another role. They're going to die sacrificing themselves. So there's going to be a lot of, I think, death and carnage in this one as well. Um, you'll probably see like, what's her name? Phoenix. Phoenix probably going to go out somehow in a blaze of glory, right? They'll probably kick. kill off Iceman, the the kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's actually an adult now, but like an older adult now. But the kid that got to play Bobby, the actress that got to play Rogue, just a horrible Rogue, by the way, in X Men, the 2001 X Men. Oh man, like, she was like the worst Rogue. I mean, she's a great actress. Anna Puck, I remember her name. Anna Pucken is a great actress, but they should not have cast her as Rogue. Um, and really, that character that she played in Rogue is just so similar, like Wolverine kind of being this protector of, kind of a younger X-Men to the school. That would have been perfect for a Jubilee, right? Like they should have cast Jubilee for that role that Anna Paquin played, but made her Asian and just kept the elements of that relationship because that would have been a better fit. But again, the whole thing just didn't really make sense in 2001. It was good to see, like, it was good to see Nightcrawler, or no, it wasn't even Nightcrawler. It was like good to see Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean Grey in that first one. Then they brought in like Nightcrawler. They kind of teased Colossus that he's at the school and all, and it was just like all these weird uh trying to introduce the newer X-Men with Storm who's already there. It was just a from a comic accuracy standpoint, it was horrible. But it is what it is. We can't go back and change stuff like that. Yeah, I hope they do a good pretty Kitty Pride. She is going to be in the X-Men as well. So uh, good catch there. Good catch there, Will. All in Bicky issues are $2. All right. All right. So his son is like just a no good guy. Yeah, they got to do a good Jubilee. I feel like they got to do a good Jubilee. And I feel like if you're gonna reset everything, assuming after Doomsday, after Secret Wars, there is some kind of big kind of blow up. They blow everything up, and everything's kind of reordered in this new integrated timeline where you have the actual sequence of the comic book events, right? You have the original X-Men, you have the new X-Men, and the sequence of how those relationships come about. You have Daredevil as one of the older, kind of members of this universe. Spider-Man, again, you could do a lot there, just making his history and backstory more accurate, where you have Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy in the same movie, right? You don't have them like separated, but you have the true kind of origins of both characters, and everything is done accurately, or at least those histories are reflected accurately. But the main thing is just like having Fantastic Four, right? Having the Fantastic Four there, um, in the same space as the X-Men, the Avengers, and all that. That's another huge thing they have to rectify. And so if they do blow it up, they got to blow it up and they got to do things right. Because Disney and Marvel, I mean, Marvel's been skating on the success with the movie studios, but the movie studios really just took so many liberties you know, with just like the characters they wanted to introduce and in the manner they wanted to introduce them in. Um, Feige did very little comic book research. just kind of did his own thing, and I think it's catching up with him now. He just realizes, you know, you can only like, you know, like rewrite things to a certain extent. You have to, if you get straight too far from comic book accuracy or material, people, true fans just won't turn out, and they've just been putting out a lot of like just nonsensical kind of, you know what I mean, like nonsensical storylines and plots that like don't reflect true nature of these heroes and characters. It's just kind of sad to see some of these projects fail in the way that they did. All right. So anyway, just wanted to kind of let you know this book is also available for sale or trade. It does have issues. It's not like a high grade copy or anything. Um, you know, I put it at like a 4, maybe the, well, no, given the black cover, no, 3.5, probably at a 3.5. Yeah, given some of that edge wear, yeah, definitely a 3.5. But it's a classic cover, and I'll trade you a Superman book for this. Yes, if you have a Superman book in similar grade, similar era, it's a trade. This next book, I just want to touch upon. There's news that Vertigo Comics is back, and it's essentially back in its original kind of format, meaning sort of the longer form, more mature content. It's kind of the publishing, you know, it's a publishing umbrella for DC's sort of more risque type comic books, and that's just a really good. I think it's a really good thing for DC Comics to um, resuscitate this very popular, Vertigo series of books. I mean, there are so many good things in here. I mean, look at these. I mean, look at these creators: Garth Ennis, Gaiman, Wagner. You know, just have all these like incredible, you know, and yeah, people forget like Vertigo had just published so much good stuff. Like you got the whole John Constantine and Sandman era. Um, you got the yeah, the Invisibles. You got House of Secrets and Books of Magic, Hellblazer, The Preacher. You had all these like really great kind of titles there. And yeah, I just love this holiday special. Got this great Brian Bolland cover here. Man, is it? Look at that. I mean, is that a cover or what? Winter's Edge there. Wrap around. Oof, that's a good book right there. So yeah, this is just a shout out to the return of Vertigo. That's something we're celebrating. You got to celebrate that. The return of Vertigo. Been 20 some odd years, and it's back now, stronger than ever. So hopefully, I mean, I think that's excited enough to get me to kind of pick up some books under the Vertigo, right? Especially if they bring some of these older kind of contents back, or if they even just have Brian Bolland start doing covers for Vertigo, that would be the most amazing thing. But yeah, it's a fairy on the cover. Don't know too much about that fairy, but let me know if you know what that fairy is all about, or this Egyptian lady. She's just having a good old time there. All right. Well, we're down to our last three books. And I'm going to start with this book here. So, the latest issue of one of the KO series, Batman is introduced to a new Robin who is apparently the son of his son, Damian Wayne. So Batman's grandson is revealed to be the new Robin, and they named his grandson Alfred Wayne after his butler. So his grandson is named after Alfred, and he's the new Robin now. So I mean, that's fun news. That's cool, fun news. Uh, Adds a new twist to Robin, right? Because he's always been sort of this like uh, kind of just this kid, no relation, uh, like an orphan he takes under his wing. But now he's actually like going on, well, to be seen or to be, determined whether what the Batman Robin relationship will be. But assuming he is the Robin and Batman just kind of mentors him as they battle stuff together. Uh, Robin will for sure uh, be take on a different dynamic as his grandson, right? It's like, oh, you're my grandson now. I mean, it was a different dynamic, I guess, when he was dealing with his son. But the fact that he's got his grandson being Robin now, it's going to be interesting to see how they work that dynamic in the comic books. It should be it'll be interesting for sure. I think can bring a lot of little comical elements that might not have been there between them before. But yeah, I just take the route of like the grandson Robin being kind of like, man, you're old. Like you're kind of stuck in old ways. Let's be more efficient with technology and all this, and like just being this sort of like IT, like, Batman's more of a gadget type wizard, but I could see the new Robin being more kind of like, I don't know, AI savvy, or kind of using technology in a more efficient manner to I don't know, solve crimes or whatever. But we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to feature probably the best Robin comic. I think this is the only Robin comic I have. In fact, it is. Well, I mean, obviously you have like stuff where Robin's in it, but like standalone Robin stuff, this is it. Um, and it's really the first Robin. It's the first Robin solo series, and it's interesting that Tim Drake is the Robin that is featured on such a book, right? A standalone Robin book. Um, because I think Tim Drake is really the closest thing you have to Batman of all the Robins, right? He's the he's the closest that comes to being Batman because he's got the intellectual prowess of like the deductive skills of Batman, which the other Robins don't. None of the other Robins were like on top of the deduction game, right? They're just kind of like, gee willikers, Batman. It's like, I didn't know. He's kind of like just this like dumb sidekick that's just there to like help battle the goons. But Tim Drake is really the first time you really have somebody kind of who can kind of do the work, like do reconnaissance and stuff on his own in the background and really facilitate, um, help Batman out because Batman's dealing with a lot during this period, right? So he's kind of like trying to get back into the Batman kind of game, and Tim really plays sort of pivotal role in picking up that slack in Gotham, and so that's what I appreciate about my this. And I I don't want to pin Tim Drake as my era Robin because obviously Dick Grayson is there as well, but I think overall, yeah, I mean, if you talk to the people in my generation, Dick Grayson is Nightwing. He's no longer Robin, and we're gonna pick up Robin to kind of have as the representative Robin. I would imagine everybody's gonna talk, mention that this is the guy that you'd want. So it's just cool that they've reintroduced Robin and that Robin uh, remains as popular as ever. Beautiful ball and cover, but you got to stare at for a little bit here. First print, newsstand edition here. This is not available for sale or trade. This is what I intend to keep, and we'll just leave it at that. All right, so number 2 is a big book in my collection. It's a first print, first appearance of Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen, or I should say the Spider-Verse version of Spider-Gwen. And this is available for sale or trade. If you want this, I just would want equivalent value Superman book for this, a one-on-one kind of trade. But yeah, it's available. Or I could throw in multiple ones that are available. I could throw all the ones that I've said are available for one book as well. Since I'm trying to downsize, I'll give you all the books that I said are available for something, in terms of value, not even equivalent. I'll say like maybe just this value of book for all the other books. I'll just throw in the other books that are available for this one book, or for the one book, for the one Superman book that I want. So hit me up. If you got Superman books and you want to trade them for stuff like this, hit me up. But yeah, we got confirmation that they're releasing a new Spider-Verse, or the next chapter in the Spider-Verse movie, the third chapter. And following the events of that, we really don't have much confirmation of what's happening, right? But it's already confirmed that they have a Spider-Gwen and a Spider-Punk projects in the works. It's in development right now. I would imagine as we get closer to the release of the next Spider-Verse movie, which I think is I want to say like late summer of next year is the proposed date. That's a long ways away. I mean, I don't know why they're dragging their feet on this, but anyway, it's going to be another. We're looking out past another year till this movie comes out, and then I would imagine if they're developing that, they may be able to time the release of the Spider Punk and the Spider Gwen projects on the heels of that project. So that's interesting news. I think Sony, because they won't have really, a, they won't really have a vehicle to do Spider-Man movies moving forward. They do want to run with what they've created here with Miles Morales and the Spider Verse stuff. So it just makes sense they're kind of pivoting away from Peter Parker and focusing more on the IP they will have kind of access to, which again is extensions of characters in their previous Spider projects. So that should be a fun thing to kind of track and watch. I do love me the Spider Gwen, or I should say, yeah, the Spider Woman. Spider Gwen is cool. I just think she's a cool character, the way they framed her. So we all love Gwen Stacy. So anytime we can get, to be honest, anytime we can like resuscitate Gwen Stacy and just make her, you know, like, give us back Gwen Stacy. Why'd you kill her off, man? That was just a horrible thing to do to Spider-Man fans. But it did sell a lot of comic books. So that's the whole point. All right, getting to our number one book. You guys know. Oh yeah, the news and the Tana coming out. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that should be a fun one to read as well. The news of Tana. Um, yeah, for me, the trailer, man, it was Super Bowl. Out of all the Super Bowl stuff, I just felt like that for me the puppy, the crypto puppy was the most interesting news of the week or the event of the week. So want to feature again my copy here. This is available again for sale or trade, high grade copy here. Really clean and also can be part of this, I guess, bundled trade here. And what do we say we're getting away here? Oh yeah, these ones. So all of these are technically available as part of the sale or trade. We'll say like $300 trade value here. Yeah, I think that's fair. $300 trade value here for one book, one Superman book. And so, yeah, hopefully it's an older Superman book, but $300 Superman books are. Hey, what's up, Ron? Right? Sadie Sinks. She's I think rumored to play a lot of characters, right? Like we don't know. They're trying to kind of do like the obvious choice is like Mary Jane, right? She's obviously going to play Mary Jane, but they say that she may be playing like Peter Parker's daughter, who's was introduced in the Spider Verse movies. She could be playing a villain, any number of villains. I mean, they have even go as far as saying she might be like a like a black like a black widow or something, like I don't know, just like the Black Widow's daughter or something. Weird things happening on the rumor front. Yeah, you think there's some it's a hard pass? I haven't seen any woke stuff in it, but let me know what you think the woke stuff is. It just seems like it's just a story about this girl traumatized by the events, and she kind of becomes this sort of like person who's lost any motivate on any motivation to, and you see this in the young people, right? They lose their motivation to, you know do anything productive, and they kind of fall into the cycle of depression and drinking and just spiraling downward you know when they have another path, like um a more useful path that can benefit, other people. They shirk away from that path. And I think that's what it's kind of like. That's what I'm thinking the movie's going to be about. It's going to be like this young person who's lost her way, just dealing with the loss of her loved ones and the trauma of her past, and through events that force her to come to terms with that, she overcomes sort of feeling sorry for herself, and um, realizes she has power to help others, and um, she can help others avoid the fate that her family had. And I think it's one of those just kind of like, you know coming of age type movies, and that's what we'll see. But yeah, Brian, I don't know what you saw that might make you think it's not worth your time, but we'll see. Maybe it is going to be. I hope they. I don't hope they don't. I hope they keep politics out of the whole. You know, I hope they keep contemporary stuff out of the movies, if at all possible. I don't think we need. I go to the movies to kind of forget about stuff like that, not to be reminded of stuff like that. So hopefully they'll tone that down a little bit. But yeah, yeah, they're saying she plays Mayday Parker because she would make a great one. Yeah, that I think that would be weird to see that happen, but I could see it for sure. Could definitely see it. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing her as just Mary Jane. Come on, she'd make a great Mary Jane. Um, yeah. Although Mary Jane, she has kind of like freckles, right? The actress, and I don't know if Mary Jane has freckles. I don't think Mary Jane. And Mary Jane's kind of more auburn brunette versus like a true redhead. You know what I mean? Like Sadie's kind of like freckled red, ginger type redhead versus like more of an auburn kind of brunette type redhead, which is kind of where I see Mary Jane on the spectrum of redheads. Um, I mean, it's a minor little detail, but that's the way I look at it. So we'll see. All right. Well, anyway, the super puppy was super cute. the fact that they had the trailer during Super Bowl, I'm sure it touched many a mom and little kid watching the Super Bowl. So if that doesn't spike up ticket sales for the movie, uh, I don't know, what will, because people have such a strong attachment to their dogs, and I think anytime you can present a dog that just reminds you of either your living dog or the a dog that's passed away, anytime you can kind of hit that nerve, it really is like you just kind of have not that you'll go out and watch the movie, but I'm just saying like you'll have positive connections to the character. And I think that's what crypto represents. Crypto represents sort of this like he's not model or ideal. He was not model or ideal in the Superman movie, but I think you're going to see a real change in both Supergirl and Crypto uh, following the events of the Supergirl movie. I think you're going to see both of them become more like understand what it means. Like Crypto is going to learn through the transformation of his owner, Kara, that, hey, I got to be less of a dog and be more of a hero. He's going to, as a dog, he's going to come to that realization. And, he's going to watch it happen with his owner first. So you're going to see really two sort of character transformations and them being more hero like in the DC projects moving forward. So I think that'll be fun to see. I think overall, I don't foresee Supergirl being, well, we'll see. I think it depends on how they play this Eric the Red character. It'll depend on how they portray him. He looks to be some kind of like space pirate or something, or space gangster. It doesn't seem like it'd be too controversial, but we'll see. Yeah, I saw that the first season of that, and that was really good. Yeah, she was a very cute. That's kind of how I would like. I don't have a big problem with the Millie Alcock casting, but for me, that's not. She doesn't remind me of who Supergirl is. Supergirl's like the girl next door. She's just adorable and cute, while at the same time just kind of powerful and has a strong, you know, positive mindset. Um, and that's the thing. This Supergirl is going to be very different. Um, and I'm not that I'm not that torn about that. I think it'll be good to see. I think this version here, this more modern version that Gunn is going to introduce, makes more sense for the Supergirl character versus the older comic book renditions. But I'm with you, Ron, man. Supergirl for me is more like the Helen Slater Supergirl, right? Just this really beautiful blonde, blue-eyed, uh, kind of American Pie type figure, who's just like, just fresh of breath, breath of fresh air, uh, really got no baggage, just young, positive, and idealistic. That's kind of the way we envision the traditional image of Supergirl, and that will never change because it's just embedded there in the comic books for us to lean on. But I think for the younger generations, it they're gonna want to see the more modern depiction of the character, and the modern depiction of the character is a little bit more angry, a little bit more bitter. Uh, she remembers everything, you know, the destruction of her planet, the slow, the the fact that her the demise of her family was delayed, and it was just a long drawn out affair, and then she was shipped off to be orphaned on a planet of the just absolute, you know, heathens. You know, she grew up around like the advanced civilization of Krypton, and now she's living on like, you know, it's like us going back and living in the Middle Ages or something, right? Just like, man, these heathens. But that's her reality, right? So I like what they're doing with the character. I think I think it's going to be a really good movie, and that's the thing. It apparently test screened with an audience, and it got rave reviews. Like the people were coming out of the test screening saying, like, "Man, this is a great movie," and so it tested overwhelmingly positive with audiences. So I imagine it's got a lot to do with this guy here, and also again the story, the quality of the story. So yeah, don't you know, give it a chance, Ron. You might end up liking it. Um, Old Yeller, man, that's a sad. I read the book. Yeah, Old Yeller. The book is pretty sad too. I'll watch it. Yeah, I'll let you know if it's a kid friendly movie. I don't think it may be, because I know the Superman movie wasn't young kid friendly, so we'll see. This looks like even less young kid friendly because they've got Lobo in it, all that. So we'll see. Right? You like the 70s Supergirl. I do too, man. That her costume in the 70s was the best. I hope not, man. I hope they don't kill off. They made it would be a horrible decision when everybody loves crypto to just like kind of kill off a beloved dog. That would be horrible. That'd be like James Gunn, you know, killing his franchise right there if he did that. So I don't think we'll see the death of crypto anytime soon. At least I hope not. Not in our lifetime, right? Um, all right. Going moving on from the top 10. So yeah. Uh no real big plans around comic book stuff as of late. I did get a message from Jens. Hey, shout out to Jens, man, my new comic book buddy here in my locale. And Jens was like, "Man, do you want to go hit up a comic book shop on Sunday?" And yeah, sorry, Jens, man. I just got so much. I've got an assignment I have to turn in by Sunday, and I'm mostly done, but I just don't think I'll have bandwidth to do anything because I've got assignments next week. I've just got to like cram and get some of that ready. Some readings and stuff I have to do as well. So it's been a very busy week, and it's just ramping up. So fortunately I can't. I'd love to go to Burien and go shopping with you and stuff, but hopefully we can do that later this summer when things should slow down. Hitting places, is it? I mean, like visiting places. Yeah. trying to think what. Oh yeah, the Seahawks. The Seahawks had their parade in Seattle, and again, I would have gone, but I had online classes that day. So, and I was just cursing. I was just cursing it. I was like, man, this is the opportunity to celebrate a Seahawks Super Bowl. I missed the previous opportunity because I was in Japan when they won it in 2014 or 2013, was it? I missed the opportunity then, and I missed it this time around. I'm here in Seattle. I just missed it because I had, again, to attend online courses that day. Couldn't couldn't call in sick or do anything related to that. So I just missed it. I did watch a lot of the celebration on YouTube, so it did feel like I was kind of connected. And I knew people who had gone there. They told me what it was like and kind of lived the experience through them. But yeah, it's hopefully they do it next year, and I'll definitely go to that one. But just just funny how like you have opportunities to do stuff like that and you just have don't oftentimes take advantage of it out of either circumstances, which is that was the case in my situation, and yeah. But I heard it was like a real pain in the butt to get there because it just like everybody converged on Seattle. It was like the city didn't take it, into consideration that they'd have to run more trains or have other, provide maybe free busing to downtown or something. I don't know. They just kind of approached the day like they normally do. The mayor of Seattle really dropped the ball on that. So you just had all this like logistical chaos coming into that one area of downtown, which is like where the stadium and the international district are. So, um, did it used to be a sign? It did, huh? I was wondering, but okay. It used to be a slang for robbing, hitting place. It still is, isn't it? Like we're gonna hit that place up. If you say like hit it up, it means to rob it. But I think you kind of have to be like, we're gonna hit it up versus like, oh, we're gonna hit that place. I don't know. I guess it would count as both. Yeah. I guess I got to just try to say something else. To try to, I don't know, try to like in the context of like trying out a new place. You could say it, I guess. Like hit up that place. Well, I guess it does have a negative connotation. We'll find some other way to use that use that term. Right? I love it too. The Michael Turner variant, that one up there. Yeah, it's a beautiful book. Love that one. Thanks, Will. And thanks, Ron. You guys are the best. We'll be back here hopefully on Monday. I think I should have bandwidth to be because Monday I have class off that day because it's President's Day. So assuming I can get my assignment kind of prepped for Tuesday, I should be on Monday to read comic books. Hopefully that will continue. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Jim Starlin. There's so many books I'd want to get signed at that by both those guys. A lot of yeah, Starlin, some Batman books for Starlin. Some I mean, I have a Starlin cover here. I'm not a big fan of the Starlin cover here on the first Teen Titans one, but there's definitely some Batman books I would probably have him sign. If they had to like a Jim Starlin, Jim Aparo signing of like their Batman stuff, oh, that would be. I mean, I'm not into Batman, but that would be a cool thing to get signed, like a Batman comic book by those two creators. Have fun with that one, man. What are you gonna take to that con, Ron? You take some Death of Superman books. That's like the. I mean, Starlin did a lot of stuff, so he kind of have like a. Starlin did a lot of Superman stuff too, if I'm not mistaken. From from that from the '80s period, he wrote a lot. Starlin wrote a lot of stuff for DC. I think across the board, but I'm sure there's some Superman stuff in there as well. What do you got to like whittle down? You got a long book, probably a long book stuff to kind of like sift through and prioritize. That's a tough choice. Do you know if they're doing like, do they have like a we'll do our first two books free and then everything after they'll charge kind of signing? Hopefully hopefully it's one of those situations where they just sign a bunch of books for free. That'd be cool. But in this day and age, I think they're there to probably sign and make money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure they're gonna charge something for it. So, Will, you're also down in that in the same area, aren't you? Are you going to the same con? You guys are both head down and meet each other. I mean, I think you're in the same neck of the woods. Yeah, if you get the VIP pass, you probably get you can probably take uh, a reasonable number of books to get signed, right? So yeah, let me know what you decide on. That's kind of exciting. I mean, hopefully there's a book where they both. I'm sure there's a book where Starlin and Jurgens maybe are co-creators on something. I don't know, maybe. But if there were a book like that, that'd be a good one to get signed there with both of them there. But yeah, there's a lot to choose from for Jurgens and a lot to choose from for Starlin. But I think getting a Superman book from Jurgens, getting a Batman book from Starlin is where I would kind of start, I guess. Focus. I'd probably, yeah. Again, if Starlin had some really good Superman stuff, I'd probably try to get those books signed. Again, I don't have a lot of that era Batman, even though I love that era of Batman. Um, we're talking like kind of like early '80s stuff of Batman. Um, that it was really good. Late '70s, early '80s stuff of Batman was really good. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I hope Jim Lee comes around these parts again because I definitely would. If you were to come to like Emerald City Comic Con, for example, I would get tickets to see that again for sure. Do a signing package. The last signing package was like 100. What was it? It's 180 books. Sorry, $180 to get three books signed. And this was before all the inflation. No, it was, well, how much was it? I think it was 150. was 150 to get 3 books signed and take photos with him. Um, and I would imagine it's going to be probably closer to 200 now, given inflation and all that. If you were to, I mean, it's the ticket prices for Emerald City Comic Con have skyrocketed too. It went from like, um, for like a 1 day being like I think $30 to like 60. It's like 60 now. It's like doubled in price for 1 day ticket. And I don't know if it's going to be 60 plus 200, 260 to get 3 books signed. We'll see. This is a little too much. This is a little too rich for my blood. I mean, I've already got a bunch of Jim Lee books anyway, so the only thing I'd really want to get signed in that event would be some of the Neil Adams books I have signed to get Jim signature there together because they did work on that book together. Or I have an Alex Ross cover that Jim Lee also sketched on that one. That'd be a cool one to get Jim's. I already have Alex's Ross's signature on that. To get Jim's there together would be pretty cool. But we'll see. All right, yeah, we got some. Oh, we got some good guys there. The Flash guy, Cheech and Chong are going to be there. Cool. Danny Glover, Barry Bostwick. Wow, that's a pretty all-star little lineup there. Yeah, Shatner was up here for SummerCon, and I was surprised because I mean that guy's. I mean he's pushing 100, right? I mean he's so. I know he like went into space and all that, but I mean he must be taking really really good care of himself because to be pushing 100 and still doing all these public events, it's kind of crazy. For $2,400, you can attend a cocktail. that's that's not happening. All right, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's reasonable, I guess. If you're gonna be into it for 3 days. Yeah, he turns 95 in March, right? So it's just really him and Sulu. Those are and I think Walt they got Chekhov. Chekhov is still alive, right? Walter Koenig, or did he die? I think he died. Chekhov died. I think Sulu and Kirk are the only ones that are alive now, if my memory serves me right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, is Walter Koenig, is he dead or alive? I want to say Chekhov is. I'm just going to do a quick internet search here. Oh, he's still alive too. Okay. He's 89. That's insane. These guys are just. So we got three Star Wars. We got three Star Wars Trekkers still alive. Chekhov, Sulu, and Kirk. Um, yeah, I mean, hope those guys. Hope those guys continue to chug along. It'd be cool to see all of those guys see their 100 year birthdays. That'd be really cool. Mm. Oh, so his son died. Okay. Yeah, that's too bad. I wouldn't want to outlive my son, but those things happen. My uncle passed away before my great aunt, my grand aunt, I guess would you call her, my grand aunt. Um, and then she passed away almost almost a year later, and she died of a stroke. But I think they're interconnected. I mean, she was just so. I mean, she was old. She was like pushing 90, and my uncle died. Um, my uncle was what in his I would say he was in his 60s as well. No, she was pushing like her mid 80s, and he was pushing his like late 50s, early 60s. This was many years ago, obviously. I want to say it was like 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. But yeah, when my uncle passed. He kind of passed again late 50s, early 60s. That's kind of early to go. And I just remember my granddad was really heartbroken and distraught over it. And again, a year later, she just died of a stroke. So um, I think it was related to just the mental and emotional, you know, strain of like losing your child. Even if you had a lived to be an old age, and that's just got to be like a hard thing to deal with. So yeah, okay. Ron Howard's brother. I don't remember Clint Howard. And what did he play something like significant? Was it a movie or the television show? Wait, is Clint Howard the is he famous? I want to say he's famous. Oh yeah. He's the guy who he is famous. I didn't know he was related to Ron Howard. That's crazy. Okay. I didn't know they were related. Yeah, he's the kid. He's the one that plays the little he plays a kid, but he's like this alien that's like like fully matured, but he's still like this little kid in a kid body. They just dub it. He's dubbed, but he also played a role on the new Enterprise series as well, if I'm not mistaken. He's just played recurring roles in Star Trek, if I'm not mistaken, too. So that's yeah, I just feel like you hear those stories where your spouse passes away and you follow right behind, right? It's like I get that. I really get that. I feel like that's what's going to happen to my parents when either my mom or my dad dies first. It won't be too long before, what I mean? It's just going to kind of like happen. It's not going to be like my mom passes away, my dad lives another 10, 20 years. No, I think it's going to be one of those situations where if either of them pass, the other one's going to kind of not be too far off. because I think again, like it's just one of those like at least my parents, they're really really close, and so it would think that just having the loneliness of that situation would accelerate whatever whatever conditions that would lead to passing. So it's a weird thing to think about, but it's definitely real. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ron. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, those are, I just was mentioning earlier, I don't know if you caught the earlier portion of this broadcast, but I do want to reiterate we lost a, a community member, and he was beloved. Uh, Matt, aka Papa Wheelie. Again, this session is dedicated to him and his memory. And he just was he was really inspiring to I think a lot of people. And he's just one of those comic book nerds, passionate about our hobby. He didn't let his limitations stop him from uh, being himself and having an impact on people. So I just, again, he's just going to be really be sorely missed by a lot of people. We're all connected through this platform here, and Pop was somebody who hopped on many a live stream during the past couple of years. We've been doing this, and yeah, it's just really sucks that whenever we lose someone, it's not it's not something easy that it's not something easy. It's difficult. So yeah, I know a lot of you out there probably are mourning his loss as well. So let's just remember Matt, and yeah, just be kinder and be kinder to each other. You know, there's a lot of people that there's a lot of people that deal with different issues and challenges, and yet they have nothing but they exude nothing but kindness, respect, and positivity. And I just got to remind myself to be more like that. It's not an easy thing, but I think um, I know a lot of us, myself included, we got a lot of just anger and rage. And really, it's, you just kind of gotta let it go. And at the end of the day, just appreciate what you have, appreciate people in your life, and just kind of look at the big picture, right? There's obviously a lot of daily kind of stressors and pressures and all that. But, you just got to take those things one day at a time. And, yeah. Anyway, it's getting late. But, yeah, stress is the big killer, man. Take some deep breaths, go outside, and, yeah, just take care of yourselves, man. Yeah. Ron, take care of yourself, man. Um, see you back here in the next one, and everybody peace out. Have a great weekend. Again, um, spend time with people dearest to you. I think it's the best way to honor the uh, the memory of those we've lost. So peace out. See you in the next one. Thanks.